This screencast is on common button problems. There's earlier screencasts on creating buttons if you don't know how to create buttons. As you can see here in the library, I have a button already created. I'm going to double click it. You go into the button editing mode. I've created text and populated the 4 frames. So back to the main stage. I'm going to first create a timeline by going to frame 150. I'm just randomly choosing that, holding down Shift, and then going to Insert Frame. And the first thing I'm going to do is, so I don't have a looping animation, so the animation doesn't just keep going back and forth and back and forth. What I'm going to do is go to Window, go to Actions, and go to Code Snippets. And that you access code snippets right from these brackets. So it's Window, Actions, and then you have Code Snippets. And that brings up this window. So this project was created in HTML5 Canvas. So I'm going to code it in HTML5 Canvas. If I was to code it in ActionScript, it wouldn't work. So almost 95% of interactivity that you do, which uses code, will be done right here in the timeline navigation folder. So what I want to use is on frame 1, I want to do a stop. So here's frame 1. And you can see this is the code that works. This is the code that is comment. And I could erase this. It's not read by the software. I could write, I like French fries or whatever I wanted to write. French fries wouldn't be a good idea. It'd be better to write something that was about the development, or what this code does, or maybe the date you created it. So the stop is on frame 1. Next, I'm going to add a button to frame 1. And I've already created all the layers. You can see here I've created a button 1 layer. So I'm going to select that, frame 1, pull down a button, and I'm going to go next to the properties panel and give it an instance name. I can pull out as many buttons as I want, but if I don't give it an instance name, and the software will not connect to it. So the instance name is what creates a distinction. I'll call that, and it's best not to use any spaces. As a matter of fact, don't use spaces. So I have button 1 here, and I have my stop. The next thing I'm going to do is this button is going to forward to a frame in stop, and I'll forward it to, say, frame 70. But I won't know that it goes to frame 70 unless I have some type of a graphic there which is going to show me. So I'm going to insert a keyframe, and I'm just going to pull a square. And as you can see, here's where the square is. So we have our button created. Next, I'm going to pull this is one important thing, pull the playhead to frame 1, and I'm going to click to go to frame and stop. So I want to go to frame 70 and stop where the graphic is. I double click, go to frame and stop. So here's where I want to change, right here. Nothing else I want to touch. Change that to 70. Now I'm going to test. So it works. So the next thing I'm going to do is go and pull a button, and the button is going to be in button 2 layer, and I'm going to put it on insert keyframe. I'm going to put the button on frame 60. I'm going to give it an instance name. And I'm going to tell this button to go to frame 90 and stop. So at frame 90, I'm going to put another graphic. So that I know the playhead has advanced to frame 90. Next, I'm going to select the button, and I'm going to go to code snippets, and I'm going to go to frame and stop. Click to go to frame and stop. So now I have on frame 91, I have clicked to go to frame and stop, and I'm going to change this. I'll just put in 100. 100. Now we're going to test. Now see, nothing happens. So here's where the problem is. What you need to do is go to this code. You don't want this code. This is the relevant code right here. Although you could copy everything. You copy this code, delete everything, come to frame 1 and paste. And it's very important that you delete the other code. Now I'm going to test this again. So now it works. So what you're doing is just taking the code from frame 90, I think it was, and you're bringing it back to frame 1. So all the code is pasted in frame 1. So if you had created 4 buttons in frame 1, there'd be no problem at all. So that's how you would solve this problem. Thanks. Bye. Hope that helps.